Hey everybody, I'm Brian Julius. I'm the Chief Content Officer for Enterprise DNA, and we're here today to close out Enterprise DNA Challenge number 20. We had a big response on this one, so we've got a number of awards to go through with our judging panel today, and we've got with us an esteemed panel, first of Federico Pastor, who is our head of challenges, and then two recent overall winners of previous challenges, Paul Gerber and Tim Weinzapfel, also Enterprise DNA experts. So, hey guys, thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Brian.
Good to be here.
So what we're going to do is I want to kind of kick it to Federico first and just have him talk a little bit about the overall challenge itself, because we really had great participation. I think a really excellent suite of entries. And so, Federico, I just wanted to get your initial impressions and then have you run through the top three nominees in each category.
Sure. Considering the complexity of the data set we provided, the outcome of 47 entries is fantastic. The data set was difficult for anyone, experienced and non-experienced.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful to everybody who participated. Thank you and well done. It was not easy. Anyone with some knowledge would have had trouble. So if you are one of the participants, congratulations and well done. 47 entries, around 200 pages of report analysis, tooltips, bookmark, button navigation bar, different way of presenting the data. It has been a fantastic challenge. We are very happy at Enterprise DNA how we are building the challenge within the community. We have around 1,150 new members in the LinkedIn group. So we are very, very happy and excited in how the other challenges are to come. So as I said, 47 entries, and difficult pick up for Tim and Paul. They are the one making the work today. It's easy for me and Brian to sit down and check how they do it. I have to say that it's a pleasure for me to share this little meeting with Tim, Paul, and you. Any of you are fantastic report developers. You have won various challenges. So for me, an honor. I'm the challenge boy. Let me share the screen with you, Brian, and I.
And Federico, one thing I wanted to add, which I was really impressed with this challenge, was the number of new entrants we've seen. That I think more than half the people participating in this challenge had not participated in a previous challenge before. And so I really wanted to shout out, I think it takes a lot of guts to, jump into your first challenge, especially one that's difficult. And so, the number of folks who did this challenge, I thought was really commendable and wanted to highlight that.
Yes, indeed. There are around, I'm not 100% sure, but 36 entries that belong to people that are not platform members. And newcomer people that are part of the group, of the LinkedIn group, but they are not platform members. And some people that participated the first time in Enterprise DNA challenges or any challenge.
Yeah.
Perhaps they just cross through the Enterprise DNA challenge. Okay, I'm going to have a go. Believe me, it doesn't matter how good you made it or how bad you think you made it. You are participating in Enterprise DNA. You are participating with the big boys, and that should make anyone proud. So 36 members and non-members, I think, participated. The quality of the report are getting better. Okay, and I think with the guidance that we provide, this quality will improve massively in the incoming challenges. So overall, a fantastic response from the community. Everybody at Enterprise DNA is very happy with what is going on. So again,
absolutely.
Congratulations.
So Federico, do you want to share screen and just run through the top three in each category?
Okay, give me a couple of seconds because I'm three categories: non-members, members, and newcomers. In the non-member category, the three finalists are, if I can move that, Camilo Corrales, I mean, the intro is telling you everything. This guy is bringing the play to us with just the intro page. We have Christian Garcia. We were quite amazed or surprised the use of Zebra BI visual in this one. Then we have Mahmoud Salang. I really like this report. I think that my side, the visualization side of any report, I like the color palette he chooses and how he play along, how well is aligned everything. In the members category, we had Jocelyn. I think almost everybody knows Jocelyn. We have Vicente Juan Magallanes. Vicente came to us very recently for the last 2 challenges, and it's becoming very, very familiar with us and interesting in what we do. And then we had Jonathan. Jonathan is an old player. I know Jonathan for a long time ago now in my mapping analytics time, and I know how good he is. The only problem I had is that I could not leave the first introduction page watching these nachos, the melty cheese. It was difficult for me. I'm not kidding. I could not go to the next page. And the members category now, we have Jose Antonio Fernandez Puga, also becoming very popular within the community and the report creators. And okay, then, we have Camilo Corrales in the non-members category. Please second view of what we are looking at.
Yeah, I would just say briefly, I mean, not to keep long, and then I'll let Tim, give his opinions. But between Tim and I, when we were reviewing all of these, all of them were really good. And we spent quite a bit of time going back and forth, really trying to decide, which one we were going to pick. They were all very good. They had their own styles. We liked Camilo's. Me personally, I liked his just because of his color scheme. It was very clean, very well laid out. He had a lot of nice features in there. Really some in-depth stuff. Good use of icons. But again, I think this one I liked because I think it flowed and it captured right off the bat what I always look for in a report is I want to be able to tell in the very beginning, what the result is, and then kind of dig through if I need to dig through and get more deep dive intel or detail in the report. So Tim, did you want to comment on anything?
Yeah, I'll just add, Paul, and again, like Paul said, I mean, it was very challenging to pick the 3 because they were excellent. With Camilo's, I loved the color scheme, the blues, it blended really nice. On this one, the sales forecast and production forecast at the bottom, I love that with the little lollipops. I was kind of thinking if that was a articulator visual or was that a standard visual? Again, easy to navigate, just a lot of nice things. One recommendation I would add as we kind of go through these, adding some points with these reports is 2 things. One is with the icons, as users are doing icons, try to add in something like what's informational so we know
that is true
what the icon is. And the other thing, and this was a common theme with a lot of entries, is the numbers. Up here we see sales forecasts of 7.8 million, 8.7 in the forecast. Shrink those down, some of these larger numbers, make them like 7.8 M so that they stand out quicker. But again, that was a common theme. But overall, as we looked at the 3, this one was the one that did make it to the top because just these little things, the color scheme, the analysis, the easy way to navigate, but overall just a very well done report.
Yeah.
If I can add a
Christian
little thing,
also.
carry on, Paul.
I was just going to say on the next one, Christian's, Chris, yeah, if you want to, his was very detailed. I liked the use of how we did different colors, kind of break apart in the bar graph. You know, you like the light grays at the bottom and then the medium gray and then the dark gray. It helped you determine, you know, exactly what you were looking at. It broadcasted and focused what I needed to know. A lot of bookmarks. He did a good job on the tool tips, bookmarking, lot of information, good use of the zebra visuals. He did use, and this is one thing Tim and I discussed, I'd like to see a lot more of the smart narratives, and he made use of that. So I think he did a good job using the zebra BI visuals.
Paul, if I could jump in here, you know, there was one thing when I looked at these that I really liked in this too, which is I think a lot of times on the KPI cards, you just see kind of that, you know, that one big number. And I really liked here the additional context that he provided in terms of, you know, last year's value, the goal value, the value relative to, you know, goal or forecast. I thought that these, for me, I looked at these and I thought these KPIs really provided a lot more value than kind of just the typical, you know, what Andre from ZBI calls the big annoying number. So I really wanted to shout out. I thought that really worked well in this report.
It did, and I agree. Yeah.
And I'll add, Brian. I mean, like that's something I'm going to keep track of because, you know, as we look at these reports, you always want to kind of, you know, get these ideas from them. So just very well done.
We need to make a difference.
The color scheme that he used, you know, light background. It was easy to, you know, the use of the, you know, the font size for, you know, particular KPIs, very well utilized throughout the report. So, like I said in the beginning, and Tim agrees, because we discussed this, it took a while. It was very hard to really, you know, grant one person, you know, the as winner. So as going through all of these, they were all good.
So real briefly, what did you guys see as the thing that ultimately gave Camilla's report the edge in this one?
I think for me, I don't know. I like the blue and the white, the theme on that, but I think it was just easy. It wasn't overwhelming as far as a lot of information just thrown at you all at once. It was easy to navigate through, like Tim had said. You know, there's some things, I mean, we all can work on different things to make it better next time, but I think just overall, the ease of navigation and what was presented, it told the story to me, you know, what we were needing. Yeah, the tooltips. I think it was just a very clean report, easy to follow.
This is a native visual in Power BI. It's nothing. He actually dies the lollipop is a marker. If be aligned, get rid of the marker and they a constant line with zero that will bring it down. It's a trick that we learned by an Argentinian called Carlos Bergamo that's really good at this, but that is created using a custom native visual in Power BI. It's not custom, it's quite interesting the way he worked it out.
Mm-hmm.
Tim, did you have a point you wanted to raise on this one?
On the next, if you go on the icon that looks like the one below, the next one, Yeah, that one right there, Federico. There's the machine comparison. This was one that, if you click on that machine comparison button, again, it was
at the top.
one up above on that, right next to the title. There you go. Again, it was something different.
Absolutely.
There's a way to compare two different machines. So I thought that was really a nice sort of outside the box analysis that was there. So again, looking at all three, it's a tough call, and one of those things where we just really liked all the different analysis. And I liked how the second was it Christian and then Mahmoud. I love this, the breakdown of the machines. If you go one back, the overview, I think you just had on that bottom part where you've got the breakout using that visual. I saw several folks use that. Makes it real easy to see that distribution. So I thought that was a real effective use. So,
Yeah,
but we had to pick one. So Camino was the one that we selected.
A lot of good stuff in this one. So why don't we move on? Why don't we move on to the members now?
Love the picture of eating ice cream.
So
That was
Federico,
my favorite.
When you call for attention to really look at something in a report, that is that picture. It brings automatically your eyes to the picture up there for the report. You cannot get away. And she has this cheeky face, like that's so good that it make it fun. It's a challenge. You need to have fun. You need to enjoy it. So it's a brilliant idea to put the picture up there.
Yeah.
so in this one we had we had Jocelyn. We had, can you go to the next one? I want to, because I had seen so many names. We had let's see, it was Jocelyn.
Vicente, I think
Vander,
there is do you remember? I think I messed up here myself. My bad. The members category. Right?
So we had Jonathan.
Jocelyn.
Jonathan,
Jonathan,
Jose.
Jose.
I'm gonna make sure, Paul, you're gonna have to, because I know we have Jocelyn and we have two of them in the same category. So
right. It was Jonathan Vanderwoord and Jocelyn were both in newcomer and members.
Okay, so we're talking right now, are we talking newcomers, or can we go to newcomers first, and then are we doing newcomers or are we doing members?
We knew newcomer.
Newcomers. Okay, perfect. So because newcomers is what we have on I had next on my list. We had Jocelyn Rivera, we had Jonathan Vanderwoord, and Vincent Antonio Juan. So again, very similar to the other ones. Going through this was really tough picking them, but in the end, we ended up picking Jocelyn for this. So let me kind of walk through a couple of the highlights of Jocelyn that we were like. First of all, this to me, I really stood out. The tab, how she has it set up with if you hit overview and you have forecast and inventory, really kind of neat how that tab sort of sticks out. So never really seen that before, kind of made it real easy. Good example with icons. We knew exactly what the icon was, and we knew what the area was. Again, color scheme, very nice, very well laid out. You've got nice visuals. I got the three on the top, three on the bottom. If you go to the forecast, if you go here, again, you're seeing, I like how she's got, at the forecast accuracy, that top right one, you've got production accuracy, there's a risk, there's a little call out, and I believe that was dynamic. So she has, as you're cycling through filtering through the products, it might be a risk, it might be critical. So again, that sort of that dynamic thing. One other thing I really liked, if you can quickly go back, Federico, and then I want to pass it to Paul, is if you go to the information page, which I really like, is something like this. I mean, for a user experience, somebody who you're not giving a training on the report, this was informational. We were able, I mean, I was able to go to this, look at it sort of quickly. There's a little next button. So, gives that information about the report. So really, really like this. So in the end, this was one that was picked, but again, it was a tough call. Paul, comments from your side?
Yeah, absolutely, Tim. I mean, I think as an end user, and going through this report, it was very self-explanatory. She highlighted, I like the use of, again, the font size. It stood out. It captured anybody's attention, my attention, but the use of what was risky, what was critical, the change, everything dynamic, changing colors, with the wording as you went through your products. I mean, it was just you could tell there's a lot of work, as with all of them, but there was a lot of work put into this, that I recognize and know. Just be able to do all that takes a lot of dynamic coding and to get it laid out. But again, just a good layout overall. But I did like the information section, where you do have people that aren't familiar with Power BI and how to navigate. What are they exactly looking for? And, for upper management people, top executives, I think, as I see it, an information page like this helps. So that kind of solidified, a decision.
Information to the guy, to the end user is a must. It's not something that you do or don't do. You have to do it. You have to explain how to go through the report. It's a must.
Absolutely. You can't ever assume everybody knows how to work through a report or a dashboard like this.
Or the meaning of the icons Tim mentioned before. It's important to tell people what that means, that what it does, and how you can do it. And there are different ways to actually do that. I think Jocelyn chose a very good, nice looking way.
Yes.
There's a couple of things, if I can make a couple of comments on this one. There's kind of a famous quote from Ben Franklin where he said, "If I'd had more time, I would have written a shorter letter." And this reminds me of that, in the sense that I think one of the things that new developers tend to do is they try to do too much on the page. And the thing I loved about this is there was a lot of thought that clearly went into what's the most important things to put on the page, and to not overcrowd it, and to really give the important analyses kind of room to breathe on the page and really stand out. And I thought that was really well done. The other thing, we talk about is, color choice, and that every color in a report should mean something. And I loved how, if you go to the information page, and you can even pick it up even without the key, but if you look at color legend, there's a lot of thought that went into exactly what does every color in this report mean. And I just thought, this is the kind of report you get when, before you start doing any development, you do a lot of thoughtful planning beforehand. And that just, to me, really came through in this report.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Well done on this one. So let's move on now to the newcomer category. I'm sorry, this was the newcomer. Let's move on to the member category.
So we have Jonathan, we have Jocelyn again, and we have Jose Antonio. Let's go through Jonathan first, because it's a fantastic report.
Tim and I spoke a lot about this, and Tim, when we were talking, Tim brought up a lot of good points. I think I'll let him start out on this one.
So one thing I really liked about Jonathan's report was that was quite different from others. But this, to me, was like a report you would almost do, like, I'm thinking of like a monthly report. A lot of organizations do. You got to turn in a report. You got to give information to, say, to management. you might print it out. And to me, this was sort of what that report, the way I took it was how it would meet it. So, here's all the information about May. And then as you scroll through, there are, there's visuals about it. The one thing I get a lot of chance to dive into it, but where a lot of good information, the question would be, is it, let's say you were doing this in June, if, would that, is that information dynamic so that it, June pops up, or, is it being, typed in? Because if it's being typed in, then every month you have to type it in. So the thing I really liked about it is that it's informational. It's something you would give to say, a management for a monthly or quarterly report. On the other side, there was a lot of information, so it did take time to read. So to me, what I sort of saw about with Jonathan is that sort of that different analysis, that a lot more, text and explanation of the analysis.
Yeah,
Paul.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of good information, all at once. He uses bookmarks throughout this very well. Like Tim was saying, the one thing we saw as an outsider, if this was produced every month, that you would have to go in and edit. Here again, like what we saw through a lot of the other reports, I think using better use of the smart narratives. I know there's a couple visuals that can help, not only the one that's built in, but maybe some third-party ones. I think that could have been used to help out with this, because it gave a lot of good insight on this data set.
So who did you guys have as the winner on this one?
Is this members? It was Jose.
It was Jose.
Uh-huh.
So let's talk about this one.
Yeah.
Paul, you want to start?
Sure. First of all, I like the dark background with the lighter lettering, but I think it goes back, as on your homepage there, everything was easy to see, that right off the bat, what was performing the best, which one was it, but I liked his use of, I don't know if they look like spark lines, maybe, but in his, up at the top, but he had highlighted, he had a lot of detailed DAX coding, I know for sure, because all the titles, he used the smart narratives, but he also made use of dynamic titles and text throughout the whole thing. The highs and lows where he highlighted, blue and red up there. And then let me move my picture. Like the Federico, if you like the actual versus forecast trends, the down arrow, you select that. The use of like the what if analysis built into a tooltip to save space and not break out to a separate page. I think this was very smart to use and use that throughout a lot of the report. And I think that's what caught my attention with his in comparison with the others. I know there was a lot of work built in behind the scenes to get all that done, but it just helped, again, the user navigate and really drill through what they want to see and how different scenarios could affect your production forecast.
Yeah, my only niggle about it is that if you were to show forecast and you bring on top the if analysis, and I cannot see the movement, at least I take it off, I don't like it. I prefer that to be maybe horizontal instead of vertical down, so you can move the what if. and still see the changes in the analysis. But that just matter that you get with experience and work on the report. For me, the idea of having that in the middle and not seeing what is going on properly is a little bit an inconvenience, but Jose is working very hard and doing a fantastic job anyway. So
yeah, I mean that's an excellent point. I just liked how it was. I mean, Tim and I talked about it, and like I said, it was hard for us to determine, but to have that feature just kind of built into the, with your chart, your graph there.
Yeah, just a lot of great techniques, and of course, Jose was smart because Federico. I don't know if you saw that on the homepage. He has a little. It must have been the timestamp for you. The good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
oh yes, he mentioned. No.
So you even put in a plug for you.
Yeah, basically they tried to bribe me somehow, and he actually did it.
It's just a marketing technique.
Yeah, I saw it the other day and I laugh about it because I talked to him quite a lot. He's working very hard. He comes from Spain, where I come from, and so we talk very often. And I know how hard he is working and how prominent within the platform in enterprise DNA he's becoming. He's giving a lot of solution to DAX questions and everything. So he's doing it very well. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm quite happy for him. I would like to say to the Microsoft people, we are using the Power BI solution within PowerPoint. And as you can see, I struggle sometimes by clicking one thing and take me to another page. So now Microsoft fix it.
Tim, did you have any anything you wanted to highlight on Jose's report?
No, I think overall just a lot of great functionality in there. So and I want to be cognizant too of making sure we get to the other two.
Yeah.
The other two ones. So
yeah, I agree. This one looks great. It navigates beautifully. There's a ton of technique in here, but not technique for technique's sake. I think it really serves a purpose. Very, very well planned report. So the next two that we wanted to highlight were the out of the box thinker, and wanted to award that one to Jonathan. We talked a lot about Jonathan's report, and it, in my mind, the thing that really was out of the box for me on this was, if you can go back, Federico, yeah, and just go to the first or second page on that. It's really interesting to me in that, I like this. I like this a lot in the sense that, in some respects, the use of text is become kind of an out of the box thing, that I think there's such a focus on visualization that I think sometimes we really underrate the impact of text. And, I definitely think, your points about the smart narrative is well taken, but I really like the way this report combined card visuals and text and visual, graphical visuals, and the way it really highlighted kind of the actionable nature of the analysis, largely through the text. And the other thing that I thought was cool was the way he used, in terms of hyperlinks, show the forecast instead of showing the surplus and deficit view. I think sometimes there's a tendency to over iconize that sort of switch and kind of make it less clear, trying to be, fully visual on this. And again, I liked the way he used text to kind of call out the things you could switch through bookmarks and through field parameters. I also liked in the bottom, the call outs of, particularly relevant or important things, or, kind of guidance for the user through, through those card visuals. And so I just thought it was a very creative, innovative use of text. And I think sometimes, as I say, text is underrated. And so, I wanted to call this one out in kind of a retro, out of the box thinking kind of going back to the days of more text. And I think it's something to keep in mind as I think people generate their reports, that you really sometimes can have a big impact by going with text. So that was my out of the box thinking winner on that one. So well done.
Good choice.
Somebody mentioned that this is the report that you send to an old CEO, because they can read and they can see the information at the same time. And the reading gives more information than the visuals. If you are not familiar with visuals, all this information, the text, is fantastic. So it might be an excellent report. And I know Jonathan for a while, he worked hard in this one.
So Federico, do you want to talk about your creative head winner?
Yeah, sure. My creative head is Jenny Rosales. I am a visualization guy. I like everything look fantastic. Okay. And I think the layout, the color thing, the alignment, I'm quite picky on my alignment. Your report is fantastic, but it's not properly aligned. I'm sorry, I'm not interested anymore. And you might be the best reporter ever, but that is the way I see a report. I think generally they are fantastic work in this aspect, in the color thing, in the color she used, in the way she moved through the different icons and tapped navigation bar. The color is red, but it's not that red that is screaming at your face. Is using the yellow and the orange that go fantastically well with this blue. For that, I think she was very, very creative. She put everything together in a consistent color way that bound everything together in a very nice way. And her analysis, we have to talk about the number. That is the most important of any report, no matter what, is also quite good. And she hasn't been in the game for a long time, so she's learning, but is doing better every time. I saw this morning another report of her on LinkedIn, and you can see that she is getting better. She sent me a text this morning. She doesn't know that she won. And I said, you are doing very well. She is going to be surprised by that. So I think we have picked a fantastic report. And I think that everybody that is in the finalists have won or participated should be very proud.
Totally agree. You know, one thing I wanted to call out on this one, Federico, is kind of call back to a point Tim made earlier about units. And I think she did a great job here, you know, kind of squaring the units on the KPI cards. And I think it kind of, if you go back to the previous page, you know, it really kind of speaks to Tim's point about kind of the clean look and, you know, the clear communication in just something as simple as that. And so, you know, as you say, kind of your eye for detail and kind of for, you know, kind of squaring all the corners on a report. I think this one did that really nicely.
And the alignment, you look at the forecast and the alignment with the filter, it might be silly, but it is in the middle. Sometimes it go up, sometimes it go down, sometimes doesn't. That is, in my view, precision in the alignment, and I really like that. A space between the charts and the KPI card. She's using the normal visual card. Camilo was using the multi-row card, and you cannot format the multi-row card. So it can with all the number. You can take the decimal, but the number can as a whole. You cannot make it millions or thousands. And that is sometimes an understanding of how to use a visual for the purpose of your intent. So she picked up the visual card here, achieved 8.79 million. That's simple. You don't have to make any mental calculation. Camilo used the multi-row card and went for the low number. 8 million, you have to count the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they are millions, and then it gets a little bit confusing. It's a very good point by Tim.
So any final thoughts that you guys wanted to raise on any of the reports or kind of the challenge as a whole?
I think for me,
Go ahead, Paul.
all of the all of the reports like this one, but I think a lot of them, you could tell they've been practicing. I think what's overlooked a lot of times is like Jocelyn's, the division of, groups of three, how everything is broken out into thirds. So I saw a lot of that throughout the reports, but all very well done, very well laid out. I think the color choices on all of them were key and worked well. They worked it to their benefit for their reports. So.
And I'll just echo what you're saying, Brian, to others that are thinking about doing a challenge, just do it. It's a lot of fun. But I would say it was definitely different being a judge versus being an entry. So thank you.
Well, I think you guys did a great job.
Yeah,
You obviously put a
appreciate
lot of time and thought into the choices, and I think we definitely owe that to the competitors in terms of people putting a lot of time into their reports. So knowing that we're taking that task quite seriously and really going through those rigorously. But really want to thank you guys for your time. I want to absolutely shout out to Federico and Karuba and to Solar for a great job building the challenge community and putting forward these really real world challenges. So I don't know, Federico, if you want to give just a real brief preview of the one coming up.
Oh, yes. Before I do that, I know Tim is liking this one. The forum in this challenge was crazy with questions and answers and people helping each other. I'm so happy about that.
Yeah.
Sometimes people forget to go and visit. Sometimes the question you're asking me is already reply or answer in the forum. So for next participation, guys, if you want to participate, check the forum all the time because people might already provide an answer or don't be worried about them. When I have a DAX problem, I normally go to Brian or to Andres. And I'm not scared of saying, hey, sometimes you find difficulty, don't be afraid of asking. There is a fantastic team of experts behind the forum and behind the group to provide support to any participation. Challenge 21 coming on Monday. Everything is ready. Simple. It can be a one-pager, it can be 3 pages, it's up to you. It's about enterprise DNA YouTube videos, more than 100 columns in the dataset. It's that simple. That is the one that you can extract information that people don't normally see it. How many like it, how many customers you win, how many customers we lost, or unregistered, not customers, but people watching so Enterprise DNA YouTube coming out on Monday. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great one. I think it's a data set that everybody, I think in 5 minutes into it, you're going to know what the data mean.
Exploratory, bring whatever you want. There is no question. You think about what we, or Sam Mackay would like to see as the CEO of Enterprise DNA and how his videos is doing. I know people have different way of understanding that meaning of what do I bring to the table. Guys, be yourself. You think that is important? Bring that to the table. There is no right or wrong. There might be things that I might prefer, but you might prefer another thing. So there is no wrong or right. Nobody's telling you what I want to see, so you cannot know. So if you're participating, bring it on. It's exploratory analysis. Bring anything you can.
Great. Well, we'll look forward to that one, Federico. And thanks again, everybody. And thanks to all for participating and watching and just being part of the challenge community. So we will see you again soon.
Thanks.
Thank you to everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.